I want to welcome everybody to the light and love that is Unity of Lawrence on Zoom. We have a gorgeous spring day here, and we're going to invite everybody to meet us in the parking lot afterwards. I'll give you the details during the announcements, but today is a really special day, partly because we have an incredible speaker today and we have great music. So let us begin. As we do everything, we begin with prayer. Let's join our prayer chaplain, Sharon, as we begin our service by opening to the divine presence we know is within each and every one of us.
Yes, relax into your seat and take a deep breath. And let us be aware of our connection to the divine within and without, in everything, and open our hearts and minds in gratitude for the beauty of springtime, for the joy of being connected in spiritual community, and for the opportunity to be inspired and to learn from a marvelous teacher this morning. So we're so grateful to come together and have this experience of sharing. And so it is. Amen.
And we are really pleased to have Holly join Holly in singing us "We Come Together in the Name of Love" by Eddie Watkins Jr.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Unity. Take a look at the person next to you. Say, God loves you and I love you too. Now feel the love in the sanctuary. Lift your voice and repeat after me. We come together. We come together. We come together. In the name of love, we come together. We come together. We come together. In the name of love. Now look at the person next to you. Say, I recognize the God in you. Feel the love in the sanctuary. Lift your voice and repeat after me. We come together. We come together. We come together. In the name of love, we come together. We come together. We come together. In the name of love. From every walk of life, every creed and color, as we reunite, we'll honor the God in each other. Take a look at the person next to you. Say, namaste, I bow to you. Feel the love in the sanctuary. Lift your voice and repeat after me. We come together. We come together. We come together. In the name of love, we come together. We come together. We come together. In the name of love, we come together. We come together. We come together. In the name of love.
Thank you, Holly. And that's exactly what we're doing today. We're coming together in love. So let's affirm with me our Unity founding principle. There is only one presence and one power in the universe and in my life, God, the source of all good. Now, our Unity of Lawrence vision, united in divine love and joy, we celebrate a peaceful and abundant world for all. And finally, our mission, we are a thriving spiritual community, sharing love, building bridges, and inspiring transformation. And now, once again, we have some beautiful music with Folk in the Flow. Folk in the Flow traverses the heartstrings with multi-instrumental dynamics and musical moods, weaving together stories of the soul. It is their imperative to bring joy, hope, and peace through their favorite means, music. Welcome, Folk in the Flow.
We all come from somewhere, we all have somewhere to go. I'm just passing through these lands, where I stand is my home. We're all just visitors here as we journey through this life. The most sacred knowledge is there are no lines. We are all connected through this infinite divine. We are all connected through this infinite divine. So let's teach people through love to be kind, and find comfort, not fear, in folks from foreign lands, and give compassion to every step you take, and open up your arms and tear down these old gates, unable to see the hate or the divine. You come back as a whole, and there's only one side. We all come from somewhere, we all have somewhere to go. I'm just passing through these lands, where I stand is my home. We all come from somewhere, we all have somewhere to go. I'm just passing through these lands, where I stand is my home.
Thank you, Folk in the Flow. You are truly in the flow. I am thrilled to introduce our speaker today. Dr. Shariff Abdullah did a workshop here a few years ago, and just nothing but praise for that workshop. So Dr. Shariff Abdullah is a consultant, author, and advocate for mindfulness, inclusivity, and societal transformation, which we desperately need. Shariff's metavision and mission are simple. We can create a world that works for all beings. Shariff promotes heart-centered inclusivity, compassionate dialogue, and a society based on vision. His vision and work are informed by his inclusive spiritual practices, his growing up with racism and generational poverty, his legal background as a successful attorney, and his inclusivity experiences in over 120 distinct cultures spanning 45 countries. As an author, Shariff has written several paradigm-shifting books, including The Power of One, Authentic Leadership in Turbulent Times, the award-winning Creating a World That Works for All, 7 Seeds for a New Society, Practical Inclusivity, and the Chronicles of the Upheavals. Let's all welcome Dr. Shariff Abdullah. Yay.
Yay for me, yes. So thank you very much. And I'm really I've been looking forward for a while to doing this. And I want to take some time to put some ideas in place I'll stay with you after your ceremony to talk some more about what what we're going through right now, how we're dealing with it, etc. But I want to do that in such a way that we're more relaxed. To start out, I want to read something to you, and this is from my book, Creating a World That Works for All. I have a new copy over there, so I don't hold up my battered copy with the spine falling off, but well read. And what I want to read to you, and some of you are familiar with this already, is I read from the introduction to the book that was supplied by President Václav Havel, president of the Czech Republic at the time. And he said, "Humankind today is well aware of the spectrum of threats looming over its head. We know that the number of people living on our planet is growing at a soaring rate. We know that the already deep abyss separating the planet's poor and rich could deepen further. We also know that we've been destroying the environment on which our existence depends, and that we're headed for disaster by producing weapons of mass destruction and allowing them to proliferate. And yet, even though we're aware of these dangers, we do almost nothing to avert them. This is the crisis of our time. The crises that we are facing are not the crises that are given to us by our media. The media wants to sensationalize anything and everything that will actually sell newspapers, or nowadays sell eyeballs to in our digital reality. Our challenge is, can we rise above all of that? If we know that our leaders are not leading us in a direction that we want to go in, if we know that our leaders don't have a clue as to what our future should be, if we know that our leaders are pandering to the people who put them in office, and I don't mean us, the voters, I'm talking about all the big money people that push the two candidates forward that say, yeah, these are your two choices, Tweedledum or Tweedledee. If we know that our leaders are the leaders of the status quo, that what they're promising to deliver is status quoism, not vision, not direction, not focus, not will. If we know all that, why are we paying attention to them? I was going to say a friend, but I have to admit this person is a cousin of mine. We actually share the same DNA, not the same consciousness, who wrote a message to me after Joe Biden was elected, after the election, who said, I'm so happy that Biden has been elected. Now I can go back to sleep. And through our 4 years of Trumpism, what a concept, I kept saying, this is our wake-up call, this is our wake-up call. And people just kept hitting snooze for 4 years. And then it's like, okay, now I can really go back to sleep now. I can throw my alarm clock away. It's not like that, because our real challenges are not being addressed at that level at all. Once we start recognizing what our true challenges are, we can then start looking at effective vision and start looking at effective action. I want to talk to you about what this whole idea of societal transformation means. I well, since I wrote the book about it, maybe I'll talk to you about it a little bit. And what it's about is the transformation of consciousness. We keep looking at the symptoms of our problem as opposed to the problem itself. We look at racism, the situation that grew around the George Floyd murder, this outpouring of both trying to find racial harmony and also trying to combat a rising wave of intolerance. We look at that as a problem, and it's not a problem. That's not the problem. The problem is the consciousness that creates all of that. We want to change the people who are acting this way or people who are acting that way. We want to support these folks. We want to oppose these folks. That's not the issue, though. The issue is, what is the consciousness that gives us all of this? We talk about, here in my apartment complex, I shouldn't call it a complex. I've got this great 100-year-old apartment. It's really cool. Okay, just in case my landlord's on the line right now. It's very cool. But one of the things that we have a recycling area, and it's interesting watching how people don't use it, and how people misuse it. The consciousness of throwing away cardboard, the consciousness of not collapsing your box to give space in the bin for somebody else. When that consciousness gets into the boardroom, when that consciousness becomes the CEO of a corporation, we then say, oh, those corporations are doing terrible things. No, the corporation is doing the exact same thing that what you're doing at your recycling bin, what you do when you either greet or not greet your neighbors, what you do when you're making all of your spending decisions, when you're making all of your political decisions, and I mean small p political, how you are acting in your society. Do you even believe that you're in a society? So I'm in Portland, Oregon right now. I've been in Portland for about 33 years, and that's coming to an end. When I moved to Portland, it was like the coolest place on the planet. Really, what we were calling, the term was progressive, doing really interesting urban things. And now we're in the grips of a wave of homelessness that is at epidemic proportions. And our leaders, when I mean epidemic proportions, I mean tens of thousands of people sleeping on the streets. When we did this in the 1930s, we had the Roosevelt administration that came up and said, we've got to do something about this. And they created all these programs, work programs, welfare programs, et cetera. And and World War II, and got us out of that. We don't have that consciousness right now, or unfortunately, what we've got is the consciousness of the 1940s and 50s trying to apply to a 21st century solution. So what we have to do is start looking at and looking for a different kind of solution. But the solution has to be at the level of consciousness. And by consciousness, I don't mean the neurons and synapses in your brain that are firing away right now. That's not that's the radio receiver for this larger thing that is consciousness, that encompasses both head and heart. Your head and your heart is your consciousness. we over focus on one, we under focus on the other, and we suffer because of that. We suffer because we are starved in our society. We are starved for connection. We are starved for bonding. We're starved for spirit. We're starved for our own future. We don't see our own future. This is the first generation, maybe the second generation, of people young people who simply don't see that they have a future on the planet. Everybody's trying to get a personal future, okay? Like, for example, a number of you have kind of money stashed away someplace. A number of you have bought land in other countries. I just got back to the United States from Central America yesterday, and talked to a lot of expats down there, people who have already made their exit, and and people are leaving America in the millions right now. And that's something you never see on the news, because people don't want you thinking about that, okay? And the problem, though, is that when you leave the country, you take your consciousness and your culture with you. And if you haven't examined your consciousness and haven't examined your culture, what you are doing is packing up the problem and exporting it to another country. And I'm seeing that happening right now. What we have to do is do that hard work, do that interior work, do that consciousness work. We have to have a vision. And right now I'm wearing the button of my organization, Commonwealth Institute, and it says, creating a world that works for all. That's my job. That is also your job. If you think your job is anything else, I want you to think about that again. Our job is creating a world that works for all living beings. What most of us are involved in is creating a world that works for me and my friends. For those who think like really radically, it's like creating a world that works for me and my friends and certain other people that I've decided I'm going to like. But if we're talking about our visionary mission, if we're talking about our spiritual mission, we have to create a world that actually works for all living beings. All the ones I like, and also all of the ones that don't show up on my radar screen of saying, oh, I like you. That reminds me of something that happened to me when I was in Indonesia some years ago. I was in this absolutely beautiful place on a beautiful island, and the spot that I was in, the temperature was perfect. The sunny day, and I'm meditating in front of this bush with these like really cute red berries on it, and flowers are coming up, and it just couldn't get any better. Okay, so I'm doing this meditation, and I've probably got a smile on my face. And as I'm saying to myself, this just can't get any better. It gets better because this huge butterfly comes flying through my vision and lands on one of the bushes. And I'm just saying, I'm communing with this butterfly right now. And then this bird comes along and grabs the butterfly. Now, this was, you've all seen, beautiful tropical birds. This was not one of those. This bird looked like a skinny pigeon. Okay, and it was gray. It was kind of a long neck. It had these kind of like beady red eyes, like it's been drinking all night, and had this down curved beak, and so it's holding this struggling butterfly in its beak, and then it reaches up with its foot and it rips the wings off and it swallows the butterfly, and then the bird turns and looks at me with this look of, am I beautiful? Okay, am I part of God's creation? I just ate part of God's creation. Am I part of God's creation? Now, that was a very powerful message for me, that there's a big difference between what I love and what I like. That I can like the butterfly, not like the bird. I can also love all of them and recognize that entire process, including the process of eating the butterfly, is an integral part of the divine. I'm looking at all of the divine, not just the parts I like. If I look at all of humanity, I have to look at all of humanity, not just the parts that I like. So I wound up writing a couple of books, and one of the things that one of the books that I wrote recently, is Chronicles of the Upheavals, and in this book is set in our future. It's set 100 years in our future, and in that 100 years, humanity actually makes it. Humanity gets through all of the upheavals. And what I mean by upheavals is all the things that could possibly go wrong. I was in Russia at the time that the Soviet Union collapsed. I know what it looks like for a government to go away overnight, just gone. It's gone. Now, what are you going to do? I was in Argentina when their economic system collapsed. I had friends who were telling me they were going out for a night on the town. You stop at the ATM to get yourself some cash. It takes your card forever. So think about this right at this second. All the money that you have is the money in your pockets right now, that all the banks just disappear overnight. If you think it can't happen, call somebody in Argentina and find out whether or not it can happen, and what do you do when that happens. I saw what you do. I saw middle-class people eating out of garbage cans. All of these things are an integral part of the upheaval when your systems and structures break down. But we can think of them as breaking down, or we can think of them as breaking through. I recently wrote another book, so recent that I didn't even see the cover of it until I got back yesterday. So I'm very proud to hold this one up. So this is the Chronicles of the Awakening. And the Chronicles of the Awakening is the second of this three-part series of books. And this is the second third of this 100-year change. We start looking at going beyond just this is all going to hell, but okay, what are the things that are coming up now? How do we as human beings use this massive capacity that we have to change our world? How do we change it for the better? How do we stop strip mining the Brazilian rainforest? How do we actually start doing things like the greening of the Sahara? You know, if we can build nuclear weapons, we can turn our planet into a beautiful oasis, if we choose to. Oh, by the way, if you can buy these books on Amazon, which I don't recommend. You can buy them on the Common Way website, which I do recommend. And if you buy them, I'm going to have to write this down. If you buy them now, up until, let's say, the 14th of April, when you fill out your buy form, I'm going to give 10% off for anybody who orders between now and the 14th of April, and I'm going to throw in some free shipping. So that's to get you to get either one or both of those books. I just start getting revved up, and I'm looking at I set a timer nowadays. So I'm looking at my timer, and it's saying, "Shut up, Shariff." So let me end with both a prayer and an exercise. Okay. Some of you are familiar with what I call the Inclusivity Prayer. And this is something that I encourage all of us to be doing. And I literally mean all of us. I mean, this is a prayer that a person who belongs to a religious order can take. This is a prayer that doesn't matter what your religion is, you can do. And if you are a confirmed atheist, you can also do this prayer. And the prayer is, may all beings be well. May all beings be secure. May all beings be happy. So I've modified that prayer some. And what we're going to do is go through an exercise in modifying that prayer. And what I want us to do is for you to do this along with me. The first modification is, I want you to when I'm encouraging people to do the prayer, I want you to focus on yourself. You know, when you're on the airplane, they say when the oxygen mask comes down, put the mask on yourself first, because in that position you can help others. You're just trying to struggle to get the mask on your child and you pass out. That's not a good idea. So the first part of the prayer is, and we can do this together, may I be well, may I be secure, may I be happy. The second part of the prayer is to focus on the other, on someone who is other, and to focus on a person for whom it is easy for you to love. That may be your child, it may be your spouse, child or children, it may be your spouse, it may be a parent, it may be, but somebody who you know. And I want you to send that energy to them by continuing the prayer and saying, may you be well, may you be secure, may you be happy. Then I want you to do that again, but this time I want you to focus on a person that you find difficult to love. When you are thinking about all of the people that you are connected with, they don't come up. When you're thinking about the people that you would invite to the dinner party, they're not showing up. And it may be a neighbor, it may be a political leader, it may they may be a relative, a husband, a wife, a child. But again, this time, getting past all that to open your compassion even further. And this time, holding that person in your mind to say, may you be secure, may you be happy. Finally, to take this and extend this out into the world, to all living beings, including my ugly bird that's eating the butterflies, and say, may all beings be well, may all beings be secure,
May all beings be happy. Thank you for your time today. I really appreciate being with you, and I appreciate spending some time with you later as we continue this journey together into our future. So thank you.
Thank you so much.
Train on the tracks down by the levee. Wind chimes playing that old haunting song, and I've been living day to day, moment by moment, song by song. I've been taking care of myself and smiling all day long. Now I'm going walk down by the river. The birds float across the ripples as the wind it blows. And a sad song, well, it can't last forever. Forget all your worries and just sing along. And love cannot be lost, can only be delivered. So let all your troubles sink like a stone when you're here. The train on the tracks down by the levee. The wind chimes playing that old haunting song, and I've been living day to day, moment by moment, song by song. I've been taking care of myself and smiling all day long.
We are so blessed, aren't we? Beautiful music. And our talk today was so inspiring and wonderful. I really enjoyed it. I wished it could have gone on and on. We thank you so much. And now we get to all be thankful with our offerings. I invite you to join me as we hold our gifts to this community in our hands with love in our hearts, and let's affirm together: divine love through me blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. And so it is. So for you to give, you can go online and give via PayPal, or you can write a check and send it in to us at Unity of Lawrence. And we all appreciate the giving. It's what allows us to have such great speakers and musicians as we have been offering. So now let's join Holly in singing "I'm Choosing Heaven Today" by Ricky Byers Beckwith.
singing, I'm choosing joy today. I'm choosing heaven today. I'm choosing heaven today. And I'm walking the road of heaven right now. I'm choosing heaven today.
What a blessing it is to be in the flow of giving and receiving. And that we are as we support our spiritual community through our time, through our talents, and through our treasure. And as we support what we believe in through our time, our talents, and our treasure, we are in the flow of giving and receiving. We are unblocking ourselves from all that would stifle us in being fully what we can be. We are grateful for this, and so it is.
Take me to the sea of clouds, goddess of truth all knowing, rising to the higher ground, river of life bestowing, immersed in deepest reservoir, the soul can feel no pain, cleansing all the living soul, allow the overflowing. So speak, eagles cry, to celebrate the view. Hope dance, you and I, listen for the cue. So speak, falcons fly, calling in the new. Hope dance, butterfly on a garden rendezvous. Drawing resilience into my bones, finding alignments through the tones. And there is laughter in the ashes, lightening the crashes, the phoenix and the thunderbird live happily ever after. Touching earth and reaching the sky, every soul expanding, silent flight into the night of inner understanding, eternity had in our wings, the joy of love's unfolding, the song I will forever sing, the glory of beholding. So speak, eagles cry, to celebrate the view. Hope dance, you and I, listen for the cue. So speak, falcons fly, calling in the new. Hope dance, butterfly on a garden rendezvous. State of silence ringing true, the stillness of the oneness, rays of knowledge raining through the sky of love's abundance. Hear my greatest offering, pathway sage and golden, elemental gathering, resounding portals open. speak, eagles cry, just celebrate the view. Won't dance, you and I, listen for the cue. So speak, falcons fly, calling in the noon. Hope dance, butterfly on a garden rendezvous. Drawing resilience into my bones, finding alignment through the tones. And there is laughter in the ashes, lightening the crashes, the phoenix and the thunderbird live happily ever after.
Thank you, folk in the flow. It's fun to see all of your many instruments. That just means you're multi-talented. So now it's time for a few announcements. I'm really excited today for our second Sunday event. We're going to gather in person in the parking lot of our church, 900 Madeline, 1 block west of Iowa. And we're going to meet every month at 1 o'clock, the second Sunday of every month, as long as it's above 50 degrees and it isn't raining. Everyone is invited. Bring a friend. Join us today. I'm really looking forward to seeing everybody. I'm going to bring my lawn chair and a mask and something to drink and see you at 1 o'clock if you can make it. And also there's going to be a gathering of friends to remember Joanne Candle. They're meeting at Friday, at the 16th at the West Rocket Ship Pavilion of Centennial Park at noon. Please bring a potluck dish to share as we also share memories of our beloved friend. And you'll want to be wearing a face mask and they'll practice social distancing. And the final announcement is I'm really excited to say that we're going to have Janice Stanfield back this next Sunday. She's going to bring both the message and the music. And we're really excited to hear how to embrace the magnificent new normal. She's fantastic. So please come back again next week. And so now we are going to bless our youth and each other. Let us rub our hands together and say with me, we love you, we bless you, and we appreciate you. We behold the divinity in you. And we take that into our hearts. Now let's sing the peace song with Holly and Bradford. The peace song really jives with our speaker's message today. Let it begin with me. So let's do the prayer of protection together. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. The presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. I invite everyone, our speaker and everyone on the line, to talk for a few minutes, 5 or 10 minutes with each other and with our speaker, show our appreciation. And we're going to be unmuted in just a minute, and we'll be able to join each other. Yay.